Hey there, everyone. Welcome to another episode of MGTV. I am your host, Michelle G., your relationship and dating guru, where I help singles navigate through the dating world and couples grow and elevate their relationship. And I'm so excited to be here with you today. I have a very special guest, a friend of mine, Nicole Bell, and I want to tell you a little bit about Nicole. She's going to be talking about dieting. Now, Nicole, just so you know a little bit about her background, Nicole is not only is she an amazing coach, she's a dear friend, but Nicole is also known as a rising star within the weight loss community. And here's why. Because she is turning conventional wisdom about dieting and weight loss on its head. After she has personally struggled for 10 years with different diets, she discovered that the real key behind long, unwanted pounds really lie in studying the secrets of the naturally slim. Who would have thought that, huh? But with these new insights, what she did was that she formulated a strategy that brought her from a size 14 to a size 4 in a matter of months. Now that's powerful. Now, what she has focused on her life's purpose is to help other women do the same. So I'm super excited to have Nicole here. Hi, Nicole.
Hi everyone. Hi Michelle. How are you? Little firecracker you.
Thanks. I'm doing great. We had a little bit of technical difficulties here in the beginning, didn't we?
We sure did. So I want to take this moment to apologize directly to all your listeners. I had some trouble getting on the Hangout, so I take full responsibility and I'm so sorry to keep everyone waiting.
No, you're perfectly fine. Stuff like this happens. I mean, I was trying to open up the bio and me and her were on the phone, so we apologize. But you know what? Technology has its days, just like anything else. But I'm so excited to have you here and being able to interview you about dieting and how it affects relationships. So I want to start off by getting a little bit more about your story. You know, it says that you struggled with weight. You've had your own personal experiences and struggles in this. I want to hear a little bit more about that and how that journey was for you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny, it's not something I ever liked to talk about before I started my business. It was always something that was kind of my dirty little secret from the past, where I had struggled with my weight, and for about 10 years went on diet after diet, eating plan after eating plan, all these things that I thought were healthy, that I thought were the answer, that were backed by a lot of different science and a lot of different studies, and that ultimately didn't really make a difference for me. And what happened is I would lose a little bit of weight and then I would gain some more. And this started when I was actually 12 years old, which sounds surprising, but the average age that most women go on start diets nowadays is at age 7. So at younger and younger ages, we have little girls going on diets and perpetuating this really unhealthy cycle.
Oh my
So
goodness.
I know it's wild, right? Isn't it just crazy?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I went on diets for over 10 years before. Um, I have to tell you, I would go on a diet for about a week or so. I would just feel on top of the world, right? I'd be like feeling like I was losing weight and I was so powerful and I felt so pure, that feeling of purity. And then my body would rebel. I would start eating again and I wouldn't be able to stop until 3 days later. And that's not uncommon for women because these diets really work against our natural rhythms and they work against our natural body intuition. So for me, finally, what happened was I was at a point where I was shopping and I was the biggest size on the rack. And what actually happened was it wasn't even a rack, it was like a shelf of jeans. And I was the Yeah, okay. It was this shelf of jeans, and my size was all the way at the top. And I had to go ask the tiny, teeny tiny little sales associate to grab the jeans down for me. And she got them down, and they were a size 12. And I take them back into the dressing room I'm standing there under the fluorescent light that's terribly unflattering anyways. I don't know why do they have that lighting in the, I don't know why they do that.
I don't know. It's like they want to make you feel bad about yourself. Well, you already kind of go in there kind of with this thing of like, oh my God, I know I got to buy the big girl jeans, you know?
Yeah, that's exactly how I was feeling. I was like, yeah, like, and I'm thinking I've been putting off shopping for a while anyways because I was dreading it. So I take these jeans back there and they don't even fit like a little bit. Like they are not even close to fitting. And it was really just this line in the sand for me, so to speak, where it was just like, God, I was standing there and I just felt so bad about my body and I felt so bad about myself. And it seemed like I kept doing these different plans to try and help myself, right? Like
Hmm.
that's what the motivation was to do something good for myself. And what I found was I was feeling worse and worse about myself. And so at that point, I just knew something had to change. And so that's when I started studying the non-dieting principles. And I started formulating this approach that would later become the freer focus approach, which is what I teach to women now. And then within a couple months, I lost all the weight. It literally like disappeared off of me.
Wow. And I want to talk a little bit about your approach, but I want to talk about you were in relationships throughout these many years of your life that you were dieting, trying to, and part of the things that we put that that we were explaining was we have all these different women who we have priorities. We want our careers to be flourished, to be successful, our marriages or relationships to flourish. But one of the things that's very key in all of that is that we want to be look good on the outside, as good as we may feel on the outside, on the inside. So I want to talk a little bit about for you your personal experience as far as like what you were going through trying all these different diets, you know, that really kind of made you also draw that line in the sand and say, you know what, I can't continue to live like this. Like this isn't healthy. Like what is happening here? Why is this so important but yet it makes it so difficult. There's so much around it and it's so much pressure. I mean, the list goes on and on.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And that's one of the things that compelled me to bring this work out into the world because it's something that I experience myself and something that I see so often in other women. And now I see it in my clients where they're like, we naturally have this desire to look beautiful, and that's something that's innate in a lot of women. We love to feel beautiful. We love to be beautiful. We want to be beautiful for our partners, and we want to enjoy like an intimate relationship, and we want to feel good about our bodies. And so it seems natural that like a diet would be something that we would do to want to improve our relationship. But what I experienced and what a lot of my clients experience, this is something that's actually happened for me. It's more so something that I see in the women I work with, where and women that come to me specifically, is there's such a shift that happens in relationships when you let go of dieting. And it's not something that I saw until later on. Like it's kind of it's not necessarily intuitive, where I didn't realize that it would have such a drastic impact on my relationships and on the relationships of women that I worked with until I actually saw it on the course. And what
Hmm.
specifically started happening was women that I worked with this new approach would tell me like how much better their relationship was going. And they would tell me like how different the dynamic was. And that's where I started to piece it together, because what I saw was that when women are dieting, when women have this unhealthy relationship with food, when women are binging or I should say, starving themselves during the day and binging at night, all of these negative patterns that happen with dieting naturally bleed over into the relationship. And so it's just like anything. If you have a partner with an unhealthy relationship with alcohol, if you have a partner with an unhealthy relationship with work, if you have a partner with an unhealthy relationship with anything, then it transfers into the relationship. And so that's what I saw happening with the clients that I work with, is as they developed this healthier and healthier relationship with food and their bodies, then their primary relationship with their partner just like transformed in itself.
So tell me, what are some of the patterns that you saw from firsthand experience with these clients?
Yeah, absolutely. You know what I really saw was that women would tell me, or women tell me all the time, that they're really able, they feel like they're able to be themselves again with their partner. And that's what really makes the difference, is that when women are, so what dieting inherently creates, and I'll specifically define dieting because there's kind of, there's some different ideas about what dieting means. But I go by Paul McKenna's definition, which is that a diet is any system of eating that gives you external information about when, where, what, and how to eat. So it's specifically based on a set of external guidelines rather than coming from an internal set of signals from your body. And so on that basis, virtually any plan becomes a diet, because when it's something where you wake up and you eat XYZ and then 2 hours later you eat this, that, and the other, no matter what it all is a diet, because it's not based on connecting to your body and listening to your body, which was what my approach is based on. It's based on, instead of telling your body what it needs, you listen to your body for what it needs. And
that's
so,
different than what, and I apologize I interrupted you, but that's completely different from what, when people hear the word diet, there's such a negative connotation with it, like diet, oh my God, I have to restrict all these great things that I love. Oh my God, I have to do this. And so really when you say this definition of dieting, it's really listening to your body to let you know what it is that it's looking for, what nutrition it needs. I mean, I'll use an example for me. I am not a vegetarian. I'm a foodie. I love all kinds of food, but what I've learned throughout the years, and I've talked to you about this, is that I can't really digest red meat very well. So I make the choice to not eat it because I know that it makes me feel kind of tired and it just doesn't work with me. But over the years, I've had to pay attention to my body to understand that. And I know that when I eat red meat, I'm sluggish. And when I'm sluggish, I'm kind of just not in the mood to talk to my husband, or I just kind of want to be left alone. I'm just really irritable. I've noticed that for myself. So absolutely, those patterns transfer into your relationship.
yes, that is exactly it. And that's exactly like when you listen to your body for its optimal like nutrition, then what it does is it will tell you what you need to be at your best. And so, like you said, you're able to be your best self with your husband. Versus what diets do is they tell you what you need and how much you should eat, and they train you to ignore your body. And so then what happens is you become increasingly disconnected from your body, and you're not really able to tell what's going to make you feel the best, what's going to make you focused, what's going to have you have the most energy, what's going to give you clarity. And so you can't really be with your partner as much when you're not really being able to be your best self. And so there's that. And then there's also the fact that, frankly, diets make you feel crappy. They just make you, like, most, like, don't we all know that feeling where you feel kind of bloated, you really want to eat one thing, but you're not allowed to eat it, so you're kind of cranky and irritable, and you're always thinking about what you want to eat, but what you're not allowed to eat, and what you should be eating, but you don't want to eat. All this mental clutter in your head, right? And so then it's like no wonder you go and spend time with your partner, and like it's and then you're irritable because just because of the physical changes that happen when you're on a diet. Like, none of that needs to happen, and that's what is really important to me about working with women, is that they get that that's not the answer, because diets don't work. They don't work for 90% of the people that go on them. So in addition to having all these negative side effects, they actually have the opposite intent effect as they're intended. They actually cause you to gain weight. They cause you to feel sluggish and bloated. They're terrible for your body when it comes to like your health and vitality, your skin. They set you up for all kinds of problems. And so they're not even actually giving you the result that you want. Like if you had all these negative side effects in your relationship, but you were still losing weight, then some people might make a case for it. But what actually happens is it has you get the opposite effect as what you intended.
So let's talk a little bit about myths, because there's a lot of myths when it comes to dieting, and you talked a little bit about them, but I wanna get your specific like three top myths that you hear from the women that you work with about dieting, and that you kind of see it being a trend with amongst the women that you have worked with.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really glad you asked that question because it sort of touches upon something that I'll be covering in an upcoming class that I'm teaching. It's a free class, and I'll have information at the end of our discussion. But it's it the and I'll be broadening it within that class. But it's specifically this idea that we can't love ourselves until we're thin. That's probably the biggest myth that I come up against is women thinking that they have to withhold self-love and self-care until they lose the weight. And so then what happens is they think, well, when I lose the weight, I'll let myself do this, or I'll give myself a reward for eating XYZ or for losing this amount of pounds, and or I'll feel good about myself then. And so they keep pushing self-love out beyond the goalpost. And then what happens is they never get there. And so they're always in this state of feeling bad about themselves, regardless of how much weight they lose. And what actually happens is when you're not loving yourself and when you're not allowing happiness into your life, then it actually is detrimental to you reaching your goals. And that's why it's so important to just bust that myth, because it's actually really, people, again, women think that it will help them reach their goal because they think, oh, I'm not going to feel good about myself until I lose all this weight. And actually, a lot of programs promote that mentality because what a lot of dietitians and instructors want to do is they want you to feel really bad about where you're at because they think that it'll motivate you. They want you to feel like they're doing it with best intentions, but it's really not motivational. And so what they're trying to do is they're trying to, in a sense, have you hit rock bottom so that way you'll be motivated to change. And so the idea is to have you just feel really crappy about your body and your life and everything because they think that that'll have you motivated to change your behaviors. But in actuality, that's the worst possible motivation because negativity will always suppress your body. It will always lower your energy. It will always decrease your drive to make changes for the better in your life. And so when you get to a state of positivity through self-love and self-care, that's actually the best way to give your weight loss like a rocket start because it really does up your energy, it ups your motivation, and it ups your results like no other.
And I'm a big advocate for self-love. I mean, in the work that I do with my clients, whether I work with singles or I'm working with couples, I always bring in that piece that you have to love yourself first. I mean, because then you can really be your best self. Then you can really come from a place of meeting goals and setting goals together, setting goals for yourself that are really attainable. And you know what? The other thing with that too, you were talking about breaking down and behavior motivation. I used to be in the Marine Corps, and that's something that the Marine Corps does. I mean, what do? They put you through boot camp. And when you're in boot camp, they literally break you down as a person. And they make you do a lot of things that seem stupid and insignificant, but it's because they're building new behavior. They're building in new patterns. So that totally makes sense. I mean, and then what happens after boot camp? I mean, you have someone who's fit, who's trained to do they say, to be a killing machine who will do and act on every order. And I guess it's the same approach, and I've never thought about it that way until right now. You kind of triggered that for me. So I want to, get ready to wrap this up, but I want to ask a couple of things. So number one, let me ask you, what's the number one concern that men have about women's body? And number two, tell us a little bit more about this free call that you're going to be having, and how people can get in touch with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually that is funny because I know, we've talked about your military background, and that's exactly like that's exactly the analogy that I draw, that it really is kind of this boot camp mentality that a lot of people have. And what's funny about that is that can work within the context of the military, let's say, right? Because because you agreed to be subjected to this like very sort of specific type of situation. Whereas, and again, when you're making killing machines, then that can be like a really, or I shouldn't say killing machines. That I don't want to sound derogatory, but you know what I mean. When you're making soldiers, that might be the best way to do it. But when it comes to, but I'm not a soldier, and so that approach is not the best for me, and it's not the best for a lot of women that I see, because again, that approach really only works if after you do that, then if you break somebody down, but then you really build them up. And what doesn't happen with a lot of the women that I see is they don't ever build themselves up, and so that's where I'm committed to starting. And so with that said, the number one concern that I see amongst men about women's bodies is, frankly, how little we like them. And
that is so simple. It's kind of mind-boggling.
Exactly. I mean, men are so in love with our bodies, and they're so perplexed at how we can be so mean to ourselves and so hateful to ourselves. And again, that it's one of those things where it feels selfish to experience self-love and to prioritize it. But when you realize what you're bringing into your relationship is this discomfort with your body, and then of course how comfortable with sensuality are you going to be when you're feeling terrible in your body, and you feel bad, and you feel self-conscious, and you want to dim the lights, and you want to, there's no opening for romance when you feel so terrible about your body. And so that's really, again, it really points back to that self-love that is so important. And so I do have a call coming up, like I said. It's really distinguishing more of the myths about weight loss, figuring out exactly why diets don't work and what will, and laying out my Free Your Focus program. So I'm really excited about it. It's going to just be full of content and great information. It's set up like a workshop style, so it'll be like really interactive, and it'll be a great call. It is coming up next Thursday, and it was actually originally scheduled for this Thursday, but we're pushing it out because we wanted to get as many people on the call as possible. So it'll be next Thursday, the 26th, at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and the domain for it is www. I'll give everyone a moment to get a pen and paper because I know everyone wants to write it down.
I'm gonna go ahead and type it in too. I'm as you're talking, I'm gonna type it in so that way whoever couldn't make it to the call can see it in place. So go ahead and read the link.
Perfect. It's www.nicolebell.leadpages.net. Oh, and there's one more part, /webinar.
Right. Went ahead and posted that on there too.
Yeah, so everyone's invited, and it's really, frankly, it's the perfect time for everyone that's done the summer slim down and the 6-week shape up and the lose weight for your bikini body, and it didn't work. I know we have a lot of people out there that tried all that, and they're thinking, why haven't I lost any weight? Well, it's time to try something that will really work, so I'm excited to teach this new method.
Well, I'll definitely be on that call. I'm always looking, I'm a foodie, and I'm always looking to learn more about dieting. And I mean, we can go on and on and on about dieting and relationships. I know from firsthand experience that I've never really put two and two together until you and I had a conversation planning this hangout. So I want to go ahead and thank you so much, Nicole, for joining us. Is there an email address if people want to send you any questions, if they want to know more about the call, that they can send an email to you too?
Yes, absolutely. They can reach me at Nicole Bell, that's Belle, at themindapproach.com. So that's
Okay.
Nicole Bell at themindapproach.com.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Nicole Bell, health expert, is going to be having a free call, so make sure you mark it on your calendar, join in, and also, if you tuned in, you'll be able to get this information at the Google event page. So thanks again, Nicole, for your time and all the great information that you shared. I really, really appreciate it. And thank you to all our listeners who are patient. I apologize, we had technical difficulties. So before I end this week's hangout, I'm very excited. I want to say thank you to everyone who participated in the survey contest. I have had a number of responses, and I value your opinions, your feedback, and part of that was that I did this little survey contest with all these amazing prizes. So it has come time to do the live drawing. So I want to go ahead and do it live on air, and I'm going to start with the fourth prize. So the fourth prize is going to be iTunes gift cards, all right? So it's going to be one iTunes gift card for $20. And here you have it, and the winner of that is, let me put this here, Laura. So Laura, I will send you an email. Congratulations to Laura, who won the iTunes gift card. You'll be receiving an email from me, or if you put your phone number, then you'll be getting a call from me. So congratulations. All right, so third prize is You Have Been Kinded, which is the Kind bars. Those are one of my favorite bars. I love them. Who is the winner of Kind bars? All right, and it is dun-dun-dun, Jasmine. Congratulations, Jasmine. You're going to be receiving a box of Kind bars. Woohoo! All right, so the second prize is actually one of my favorite prizes. My husband has these headphones. He loves them. They're phenomenal. And they're Beats by Dre. So the lucky winner for Beats by Dre are, oh, I got someone here, Sam. Congratulations to Sam. I don't know if that's a guy or a girl, so I'm going to have to check. Congratulations to Sam. You are the winner of the Beats earphones. And the grand prize is $170, $75 Visa gift card. Or if you're in the San Diego area, then you're going to be able to win a gift certificate to one of my favorite restaurants, Eddie V's. I love their steak. That's the only place where I usually will eat steak if I decide to eat it. Or they have great lobster tacos, lobster bisque. Oh my God, phenomenal. So that lucky winner is. Yeah, I got a person. I love that place. Kelly. Congratulations, Kelly. You are the winner of our grand prize, $175 Visa gift card, or $175 for Eddie V's. Well, I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Thank you so much for all your love, your support. Again, a thank you to our special guest, Nicole Bell, who shared amazing information about dieting and how it affects our relationships and just overall. And I just want to tell you that next week we won't be having an episode. I'm going to be taking all the surveys, getting all your feedback, and we're going to come back bigger, better, and stronger. But until then, I want you to remember that every day is a new day to reignite your relationships, but it always starts with you. Have a great night, everyone. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Good night.
Good night.